Hello and welcome back to yet another hands-on lecture. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to pick up where we left last time. And where we left last time was that we made a start for a design automation framework for conceptual aircraft design. So what we did is that we did a fuselage, which was more of a skeleton model, and it contained references for wings, horizontal tail, and vertical tail. And let me just make this a little bit larger for you. There we go. So yeah, if we run this code now, what we can see is that it automatically creates 3 parts and then it instantiates the same power copy on 3 different places. So where we want to go today is that we want to create a automation routine also for ribs, so we can instantiate a specific number of ribs in these various wings and horizontal tail and vertical tail. And in order for us to do that, we need to, let me just make this a little bit bigger. We need to have this process. We need to have a process where depending on the number of ribs, if we increase the number of ribs, then we need to do this process. And if we decrease the number of ribs, then we need to do this process. And here what we're doing is that we are copying the references outside a loop, and then inside the loop we are creating a new part, changing the name of the part, pasting the references, instantiating the power copy, and modifying the instance parameter. So in order for us to do that, we first need to pick up where we left last time, which is we tested the code. As you can see, this is the verification of the test. It actually works to instantiate. And now what we need to do is to actually clean the code. Every now and then it's a good idea to clean the code, and this makes it actually easier to move along, and I will demonstrate that. So what I will do is that I will take the code that I had created previously, and then I will make it more efficient. And when making this code more efficient, it will be much easier to accomplish this procedure. And as you may remember, what I did last time was that I did an ugly solution. Was that I had a code for instantiating the wing, and then what I did was that I simply copied and pasted that code 3 times, or actually 2 more times. So I have 3 sections which are very, very similar, but with some differences. And this is a perfect situation to create some functions actually. So that's basically what we're going to do today. Alright, so let's start by making a function for copy references. And what I'm going to do is just to go here and see that in order to copy the references, I first need to locate this I need to go inside a certain hybrid body inside the part which contains all the references. In this case, it's the fuselage. So here I have a couple of different geometrical sets. first case, I go into the wing geo, which is this one, and then I basically do a loop where I count the number of elements inside this geometrical set, and then I loop it through and add it to selection 1, and then I copy it, right? So, and this is exactly the same procedure which is repeated for the horizontal tail and also the vertical tail. It's exactly the same procedure. So it should be rather simple to create a function for this. So simply what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to cut this out, and then I will go furthest down here, and then I will create a function. Let's call it copy ref, and this function should contain some type of inputs. So let's wait with that. Something like that, and I just pasted in what I cut out previously. So what do we need here? We need an input for what the name of this geometrical set is. So this is one of the inputs that we need. Also, I'm quite sure that if we just run this function, it will be it doesn't know what hybrid bodies 1 is, because it's not defined here what hybrid bodies 1 is. So this needs to be an input like that. Hybrid shape depends on hybrid bodies 1, so that is fine. Also selection 1 is something which is not given here, so that should be part of the input. Wing shapes is from there. Yeah, that's it. And there is no output which is necessary here, because we are copying the references are being copied in the cache memory of CATIA, and that is enough. So the final thing which we need is this one, name of geo, something like that. Name of geo. There we go. And I just made a comment here so I can use that later on. So now I can remove that. So now I will take this line and paste it here. Of course I need to remove function. So this one should be also removed. Yeah, it actually needs to be equal to something. So let's just make up something. K1 is equal to this function. It shouldn't be necessary, but it's a syntax thing for Visual Basics in Excel. So this the value of this will be empty because we haven't actually returned anything in this function. But in any case, in order to make this work, we need to have some kind of a dummy thing which is equal to this function. This name of geo, in this case, it will be called wing geo. And let's see, now we paste in the exact same row here, and instead of wing geo, this one will be called HT geo. Now I can remove this code like that, and then same. Oh, let's see, just copy this line. And here it's called VT geo. and then I remove this line. Okay, so let's test it out. I'll just remove these parts like that. Let's see how this works. It works perfectly. So we've been able to replace a lot of repetitive rows with just one function. And now we'll continue to do exactly the same thing for the rest of the code. All right, so we need to continue and create new functions. And the next function which we're going to create, we did a function for copy references. Now we're going to create a function which includes both creating a new part and changing the name of that part. Let's see. Let's hide this one. And then I'll need to go here, and here is the line for creating a new part and also change the name of that part. There we go. And as you can see, if I take this, let's see how much I should take. Maybe I should take this much. If I take these lines, then as you can see, this new one underscore part is used here in order to define where the references should be pasted in. So this function, unlike the previous function, should actually contain some kind of an output. So I will just cut out that. I will create a new function here. Function create new part. So what's unique here is products1 is not defined anywhere. What is products1? It has to be as an input. Same goes for documents1. And we need to give new part, new one underscore part as an output. So now I will just, oh yeah, also, oh, of course, this should be name of part. This is also an input, so we'll give it here as an input like that. And now this is our new our new function. So now I go back here and then I copy so as I said before, the output of this function is new one underscore part. So I will simply do like this. I will put set this is equal to this. So now the output of this function will be this new one underscore part. Also, I need to give the correct name. Let's call it Ving 1, 2, 3. Like that. Yeah, and I think that's it. So we'll just take this row and then I will copy it for here as well. And instead of wing 1, 2, 3, let's call this one HT 1, 2, 3. And then I will do the same thing for the last one. Just remove that. And then vertical tail. I mean, it could be called anything, it doesn't really matter at this point. So let's see, new part that comes here. All right, so once again, let's test this. Just remove these ones and now run it and see what happens. So this does not work, and the reason for that is that it's a class, so I cannot just equal this to this. I need to put a set here. Now it should be good. There we go. So now we have created 3 new parts, and the names, as you see, wing 1 to 3, HG 1 to 3, VT 1 to 3. So it works. So now we have yet another function. Okay, so now we'll just do paste references function and then instantiate power copy function. And then for the paste references, we have these, and I will just call them out again as before. Function paste ref, we can call it whatever you like. And then here input is this one, and also selection 1 is not defined, so we need to give that, but there is no output here, so just to paste it in here exactly. All right, so then that should be enough. We will go and put it in, let's say here. Yeah, and as before, we need to have a dummy. This doesn't have an output, so it doesn't really matter. So, but we'll call it K1. And then let's say this I need to remove, and then I add here instead. This should also be removed. This goes in here, great. And then I will remove this one. Perfect. Okay, and let's see, I'll test it here. There we go. So this is not working. Why is that? Let's see, we copy the references, create a new part. Oh, the paste references has to be above here. Let me just check if I did this right in the next ones. Yes, that is correct, and here is correct as well. So of course you need to copy the references and then create a new part, and then you paste the references. And yeah, let's see here. What is, yeah, okay. So passed in is is not defined now. And the reason for that is that it's defined inside this function, and I don't give it as an output, so that's a problem. So I will just do it like this. I will take this line here, and instead of this I will just give it that, and also the same thing here, and the same thing here. That should cover it. There we go. There we go. All right. Now we have it. So if you're still wondering what just happened here, is that before we defined what this class, how it is defined, but ever since I put it in a function, it's not clear for the rest of the code what that is. So instead of having the previous class, I just replaced it with the actual address. So I use another class and then inside hybrid bodies. So that's basically what solved it. And now what is left is that I need to do the instantiation process. And this is a big chunk of code, so this will decrease our code with quite a lot. So I will just take it out and then function instantiate. Actually, we can call it instantiate PC. There we go. All right, so let's see that we get everything right here. So we need to have the new one.part. Do we have to have anything else? Factory is defined here. Yeah, we need to know where the power copy part is located. So this should be an input. Let's call it direction PC. So I mean, if you're going to instantiate different type of power copies, then this will be different. New part. This is from here, so that is fine. Yeah, I think actually we're fine. It looked like we were going to get even more inputs required, but I think this should cover it. So let's go up here and then from here, that should be fine. So again, we need to call it, we need to give it a dummy value, k1 is equal to that. And then I will just remove these ones and then also remove did I have an update here? Yeah, I did. This. All right. So the code is much more neat now. So let's see here the different sections that we have. We have a section for the wing, we have a section for the horizontal tail, and then we have a section for vertical tail. And then they reuse the same codes which are located in the functions. So it's the copy ref, the create new part, the paste ref, and the instantiate function. And this will make things much easier when we're going to create the ribs later on as well. So let's do a final test on this. Then I will just run this and see what happens. And it doesn't work. Oh yeah, it does not work because we are not defining what this is, directory for the power copy. That I forgot. So I will just copy where the power copy is located. And then it's this one. Just put it here. There we go. Wing PC cat part. Yep. Actually, let's do this a little bit more neatly. Directory PC1 is equal to this, and then I will just use that one for here. Let me remove that, and then I'll try it again. Create new part, paste references, it didn't work. Let's test it again. There we go. All right, so what you saw earlier was that when it was going to instantiate the horizontal tail, it got stuck here somewhere. And the reason for that is that sometimes when it's going to, it happens very seldom, but it happens. When it's going to paste the references, it misses the pasting procedure. But it very seldom happens, so nothing to worry about. And if you want to do it really robust, then you can have some kind of an error handler which checks if the references have been pasted or not, and then it makes another try if that is not the case. But that is a little bit going too far right now. All right, so basically what we've been able to do now is that to create the different functions and then make the code much more lean. And the next step will be to actually start modeling the ribs, and then we're going to do the automation procedure for the ribs. So I'm going to reuse a lot of code in order to make this happen.